Kwabena, how are you today?
Doing well, Rod. Good to be here just to talk about sport. Looking forward to kind of having this bit of a segment with you. Answer Me This.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right, let's start with the state of origin.
Outrageous.
You enjoyed the game?
As a Maroon supporter, no. As a Maroon supporter, I was mortified. But I must admit, that first half, what a game. Absolute, bodies on the line, everybody going hard. Thank goodness the Maroons got 2 points just before that half, because the possession of New South Wales was just phenomenal. They had us against the ropes. And I think New South Wales just showed grit, and they just came out in that second half and really put the medal down. I couldn't believe it. Let's be honest. In our stadium, yeah, it was a pretty shocking night.
It was good to see from a New South Wales point of view that we could go over the border and actually get a win for a decider.
Yeah, we'll give you that one. We'll give you that one, Rod. I mean, how many years has Queensland won?
Too many.
But, we are the greatest side out there.
Well, let's move to rugby now. Rugby union, this is Australia versus Georgia.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's really going to be an interesting game this weekend. You have Wallabies coach Joe Smith making some wholesale changes, at least 10 new changes this weekend. I mean, that is going to be, I think, he's testing out the waters, isn't he? I mean, any coach that makes that huge of a change is just testing out the team. Although they came off the back of beating Wales in 2 tests, twice they've won, I think the change is right. However, Georgia, let's be honest, Georgia is a very, very good side, especially with, they're demonstrating their win over the Japanese side, and with their coach, Richard Cockerill, a former England hooker, it's only obvious that they're going to look to go through the forward line, in my view. They're going to look through, some of their players out there. It is quite fascinating to watch the Europeans taking on, I guess, Australia, because European football is really becoming, I think, the benchmark these days, including places like Ireland. We do have South Africa, but I think the Southern Hemisphere is, dropping back a bit.
They are indeed, and the 10 changes to the Wallabies, as well as a new captain.
Yeah. We have Alan Alatoa being after being promoted to the starting side, is now actually, captaining the side. Again, I like what Joe is doing. I think he's testing the waters with some of these players. Georgia is a very good test. They have some exciting backs there to their traditional forward strength, and challenging the opposition across the park. So it really will be a test for Australia. Look, our last game with Wales, right? Let me just read you this stat. Possession lasting 10 minutes, Wales had 86%, whilst Australia had 14%. That's a remarkable stat. In my view, I think, although we had possession for 53% of the game compared to Wales of 47%, it's going to be Australia needs to have possession for longer, in my view. Getting into that forward half will be very key for Australia going forward. We had set plays, 80% scrum win, which was great. Line-outs, we had 15 compared to Wales 17. Line-out wins, we had 93%. We continually need to work on our set plays, but with this 10 changes being made, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's basically a whole new team.
It is.
It's a real tough ask for them to go up against Georgia.
Yeah. It'll be an exciting game, I must admit. I'm looking forward to watching that. But Georgia, as I mentioned, Georgia beat Japan. And let me just tell you this stat as well with Georgia. They had a scrum win of 60% compared to 63%. So what I mentioned before, their traditional forward strength, and going through that, I suspect they will be retuning that this week during their training to get that higher. Their line-out wins 100%. Their restart wins 100%. Their attack 84, attacks across the line. So, look, I'm looking forward to this game and what it's in Australia's changes.
And what's your hot take?
Look, it'll be a forwards game. I expect Georgia's head coach, Richard Cockerell, a former England hooker, to obviously that he knows the forward line and working with their strength. Off a win, they want to just continue that momentum going forward. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
And looking at closer to home as well, New Zealand versus Fiji.
Now, has New Zealand lost its edge? For so many years, having grown up in Australia since I was 4, it's always been New Zealand. The All Blacks, the mighty All Blacks. They've just been phenomenal. As I mentioned before, look, the Northern Hemisphere in South Africa, let's add them to that picture as well because they're a solid side, are starting to take over. And New Zealand always had this plethora of players coming through, just absolute talented human beings, spectacles. Have they, I guess, taken it for granted? And are they starting to lose their edge? I believe so.
But do you reckon they'll win?
Because of their historic play. Fiji, unfortunately, for Fiji, they're so exciting. I love watching Fiji, especially in the sevens. They're an exciting side. They win. But it just doesn't translate to the 15-sided game, unfortunately. They have great training. They have a good spirit. They know how to play. But a lot of the time with rugby, there has to be a bit of discipline. And the structure of the game needs to... You need to be adaptable in that. I just think New Zealand just have that edge. But again, when it just comes to playing quality sides like South Africa, I don't know. I don't know.
So let's move to tennis and your thoughts on Novak.
Well, should Novak retire? I don't know. What do you think, Rod?
Probably yes. Probably past his use-by date.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they come back and surprise us.
I'm with you, Rod. I'm 1,000% with you. Answer me this, Rod. Athletes sometimes just don't know when the light is shining and it's time to get out of the way. And they've been incredibly successful. So we've seen it with the decline of Sampras, Agassi, Federer, and even more so now, Nadal. Why can't they just leave at the top? What do you think, Ron? Answer me this.
Well, we've seen a young lady from Australia do that.
Ash Barty.
Yeah. And she's still seen as one of the best.
Forever. You can't deny it. So is it ego? Is it kind of, I just want to continue playing? I mean, we look at Nick Kyrgios. He's pretty much retired. But Novak at the top. I mean, Carlos was amazing. Let's just be honest. Straight set win. And you sat there and just witnessed a changing of the guard. Novak, it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Yeah. Now, football. I don't get to watch much of the football out of England. Who's your team?
Who is my team? Well, look, I support winners. Unfortunately, like I said, the Maroons didn't win, so I support winners. I grew up playing, rep soccer back in the day for Gladesville, and then I went into Northern Spirit. And I grew up always having the Brazilian attire. Then I morphed into the Italian attire.
Multicultural.
Mate, I didn't know what my allegiance was. But you see, the question is, the Euros was just a great spectacle. It was amazing talent on the field. But England
didn't come home.
Will it come home? That is the question. You see, answer me this, Rod. How can you have the likes of Bellingham, Palmer, Saka, Manu, Ollie Watkins, and Tooney, and give that into the hands of an average coach like Gareth Southgate? This is England's second golden era of talent. It's just disgustingly good. Yet, according to the independent newspaper in England, their bookmakers have Graham Potter as the favourite to succeed. Have you heard of him before, Rod?
No.
Exactly, because he's average. Let me read you Graham Potter's managerial resume. Leeds, Carnegie, Ostend, Swansea City, Brighton and Hove Albion, and my team, Chelsea. Now, he's only been at Chelsea for a minute. Rod, again, answer me this. Would you hand the keys to an F1 to an everyday person who maybe drives a Mercedes?
No.
And why is that?
Well, I want my F1 to be still on the road.
So we have incredible, talented generation of footballers now going... And look, Gareth Southgate did the best he could. He could have made the changes earlier. Mm-hmm. Some of his changes came at the 70th minute of the game, and he was heavily criticised for that. In the finals, he changed it a bit and did it at the 60th minute. Should have done it at halftime. Let's be honest. He should have made wholesale changes after halftime. Did not produce much on the field. Foden's gone wanting on the field. Cole Palmer, the freeze. Amazing talent. Should have been on after halftime. But I just think handing an F1, which is the England side of this golden era talent, to a no-name, well, not no-name, but Graham Potter, just won't get the best out of these players because they won't, I think, respect him. They'll be questioning, I guess, his strategic play because all these players are coming from top-tier clubs. England's board just needs to, take a deep breath.
All right, so never coming home?
It's never coming home.
So where to for England? Who should they get in charge?
That's a $1 million question, isn't it? Names like Jurgen Klopp, who's basically just taken a break at the moment because he's tired. Let's look at some of the big name coaches. How do we woo some to come over? The England Football Board just needs to take its time. Don't rush into it and go for a big name coach.
Let's quickly go to the Olympics. You're looking forward to seeing some of the Olympics in just a week or so's time?
I know, isn't it? It's just around the corner. I hope Paris is ready. They had their mayor swimming in the sign to confirm that the water is nice and clean. They've spent close to $1 billion fixing up, getting rid of all the debris and, cleaning it up. So, look, I think I'm excited for the Matildas to play. Can the Matildas get out of their Olympic draw? Absolutely. Can the Boomers medal? Because I do like basketball. I think they can. It's going to be tough, but, got to go the Aussies, eh?
Got some good players.
We do. We really do. Look, people rip on Deladova, but the man is, he's a champion. He played in the Cavaliers with LeBron James. So, we just have some good young guys, but also some really good experience.
Paddy
Mills. I think he'll go down in history as one of Australia's, best sports people out there. Yeah. He just seems like a really nice guy. I haven't met him before, so Paddy, if you're around, come out to Burke and say hello.
He goes to Walgett and areas around there quite a bit and does stuff. So.
Paddy, we're in Burke.
Come west, young man. We shall talk again next week.
Indeed. Good to be here, and I look forward to again asking you, answer me this.
Kwabena Ansah with Coffee, Outback Radio.